Hi guys, I'm Miss Sarah and welcome to Play K Storytime. Let's do our calendar. Okay, so what day of the week is Storytime always on? That's right, it is Tuesday. Does anyone know what month it is? That's right, it is March 16th. So Tuesday, March 16th. What is the weather like outside today? Is it sunny? And what is the season? It's still not quite spring, it is winter. Alright, so it's Tuesday, March 16th. The weather is sunny and the season is winter. Good job, guys. So today we are going to talk about two of my favorite things ever, and that is birds and trees. But before we do that, I have a little poem that I'm going to read to you guys. It goes like this. Springtime, oh springtime, I know when spring is here. It rains and lots of flowers grow, a super time of year. I step outside, I feel the breeze, things start growing on the trees. Springtime, oh springtime, a super time of year. Chirp, 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 a sound that you might hear. Good job, guys. That was fun. Alright, so let's talk about birds and trees. So the other day I went out for a walk and I felt the cool breeze and I smelled the fresh air and I heard the birds chirping. What do you see when you go outside for a walk around your neighborhood? Do you see lots of trees? Do you notice that trees lose their leaves when it gets chilly out and then they grow their leaves when it gets warm again in the spring? Can you think of any animal friends that might make their home in a tree? What about some birds? Or some squirrels? Lots of bugs like to live in trees and woodpeckers and all that kinds of good stuff. Alright, so let's read a book about a tree. It is called Albert's Tree, and it was written by Jenny Desmond and published by Candlewick Press. Albert's Tree. Spring arrived and Albert woke up from his long sleep. Hooray! He shouted as the snow was quietly turning to water and trickling down from the mountains. Albert raced to his favorite place. His tree. Hello, tree, shouted Albert. I've missed you. His tree was perfect. Not too hard or too soft, or too slippery or too prickly. It was his own special place, quiet and peaceful. But what was that noise? Albert's tree was crying. Wah! Wailed the tree. What's going on? Said Albert. You don't normally make a noise. Sniff, sniff. You smell the same. Bounce. You feel the same. And you taste just the same, even upside down. What are you doing, Albert? Said Rabbit. We've dug you some holes to play in, tree, said Albert, but the tree just kept crying. Wah, 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 it wailed. Along came Caribou. What are you doing, Albert? He said. My tree is crying. I'm trying to cheer it up, said Albert. Well, I'm sad. I eat grass. When I'm sad, I eat grass, said Caribou. So Albert and Caribou gathered lots of grass. Do you eat grass when you're sad? I don't think so. Wah, wah, wah. We've brought you some grass, tree, said Albert. Please cheer up. But the tree just kept wailing. Why is your tree crying, Albert? Said Squirrel. I don't know, said Albert with a sigh. The tree cried harder than ever. Please don't cry, shouted Albert. Wah, 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 wailed the tree. Too loud, my ears hurt. I'm off. This noise is too much, said the others. Wah, wah, wah! Please stop it, tree, roared Albert. Stop crying. But at that the tree wailed just even louder. Wah, wah, wah! Then Albert had one last idea. He took a deep breath and climbed quietly to his favorite branch. He wrapped his thick and furry paws around the trunk and gave the tree a huge, kind bear hug. He whispered in his tiniest voice, "Why are you crying, tree?" To Albert's surprise, his tree whispered back, "Because I'm scared of the big, hairy monster." Who is the big, hairy monster? "What big, hairy monster?" whispered Albert. "Outside, over there," said his tree. "Don't worry, I'll get rid of it," said Albert bravely. Albert nervously looked high and low. Outside and over there was no monster. There's only me here," said Albert. "Oh, phew," said the tree. "I can come out then." "Arr!" screamed a tiny little feathered thing. "You're the monster!" "Arr!" screamed Albert. "You're the tree!" I'm not a monster," said Albert. "I'm Albert, and I'm not a tree," said Owl. "I'm Owl." Albert and Owl laughed and laughed at their mistake. Ha 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 ha. They both felt much better. Albert was glad his tree was back to normal. He and Owl played in it all afternoon. And as he watched Owl swooping from his favorite branch, Albert knew that Owl loved the tree as much as he did, which he secretly decided. Made his tree twice as perfect as it had been before. The end! What a great book, guys. I can't believe that the owl was in the tree the whole time and Bear didn't even know. Albert, that's so crazy. Alright, so what do you guys hear when you go outside in the springtime? You might hear the wind blowing or your neighbor's dog barking, but what about some birds? I have a handy little puppet here. What do birds sound like? Maybe some chirp like this. Chirp, 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 chirp. Or maybe they whistle like this. Do you think that you see or hear more birds in the springtime? Do your parents have a bird feeder in your backyard? Why do you think birds come out in the spring after winter? There's lots of worms for them to eat, right? Good job, guys. Okay, I have a book about birds here. It is called Birds, and it was written by Kevin Henkes and illustrated by Laura Dronzek. And it was published by Greenwillow Books. Birds. In the morning, I hear birds singing through the open windows. Birds can be yellow, or blue, or brown, or red, or even green, I think. Sometimes they are so black that you can't see their eyes or their feathers, just their shapes. Birds can be big or little, or any size in between. Once I saw 7 birds on a telephone wire. They didn't move, and they didn't move, and they didn't move. I looked away for just a second, and they were gone. If birds made marks with their tail feathers when they flew, I think what the sky would look like. If clouds were birds, the sky would look like this. Or this. How beautiful. Sometimes in winter, a bird in a tree looks like one red leaf left over. There it is, up there. If there are lots of birds in one tree and they all fly away at the same time, it looks like the tree yelled. Surprise! If I were a bird, I'd ask where all the other birds go when it's stormy and they can't get home to their nests. I like to pretend I'm a bird. I can't really fly, but I can do this. I can sing. What an awesome book about birds, guys. Did you know that birds could be all those colors? What kind of birds have you seen? Have you seen a cardinal, which is the red one, before? I always see them in my backyard. Alright, so for this week's Play K, we also have some activity sheets, which you can find at the library. Just ask a librarian at the circulation desk and they'll give you some. So we have this one, and it says how many are there, and you just count the amount of trees and then write the number of trees that there are. And then we have this really, really fun maze that you have to count all the way to 20 so the bird can get back to its nest. And then, my favorite one, we have a spring scavenger hunt, and you have to find the things that the sheet lists. So, for instance, a rock, or a pine cone, or a worm. And you just circle them as you find them. Alright, guys? So you can find these behind the circulation desk at the library. And our next Play K story time is going to be on April 6th. And I'll see you then, guys. Thank you. I had so much fun. Bye.